What's up, guys? We got another More with Devin show today. We're going to keep this thing rolling, keep doing what we're doing, hopefully bring some value to you guys, bring something of benefit. So we're going to do some questions that I had submitted first, and then we're going to talk about some things in reference to, you know what I'm saying, training like an athlete and living like a boss. All right, so here we go. So to get this started, the first question that we have, it says, if someone asked you 10 years ago, if you have what it takes to get your pro card, what would you have said? So 10 years ago, you know what I'm saying, I just got into fitness. And, when I was working, I've always been an athlete, since I was a little kid, but got into like actually, bodybuilding and working out in that kind of perspective. And, one of my coach, Omar Ventura, way back then, he saw that I had that kind of potential, even though at the time I didn't think that I did. And, I did my first show, like I think it was like, 2013. And, I was like a skinny, you know what I'm saying? And actually what's crazy, I'll kind of, be a little transparent. The first show that I did, I had no clue what I was doing, but I saw, man, these guys from the West Coast, Tori Woodward, and Johnny Sebastian, you know what I'm saying? These are some of like the OG men's physique guys. I saw these guys, man, and they over here living their life, doing their thing, like, making it happen on all levels in life, and got these awesome physiques. And so it was kind of a wave going, like fitness and people getting in shape. And at the time, I had me some nice abs, got to a place where I was feeling good about myself. And then I said, I'm gonna do a show. And actually at the time, man, I wasn't making a lot of money, didn't really have a lot of knowledge on even anything bodybuilding, never had even been to a bodybuilding show. And, so I ended up like prepping for this show, just focusing on trying to get lean, really didn't know what I was doing at all. But, the biggest thing is I made the decision to show up, and I stepped on the stage. And, didn't have a tan, didn't know I needed to shave, any of this stuff, didn't know how to pose, anything. But like I said, man, like I felt all this anxiety, all this fear, but I took that step. I remember, driving to the show, and on a real level, man, like dang near about to cry, because I'm like, man, I'm about to be humiliated. I don't know what I'm doing, but man, I just did it. You know what I'm saying? I got on that stage, and from there, man, it was a life-changing thing. And it, let me see that I had potential, and I just let that potential little by little, continue to grow. And I continue to open myself up to opportunities and circumstances that could be a benefit to me. And, here I am now, IFBB Pro. But first I had to take that step, that leap of faith, and move towards something that I didn't really have great understanding of. And, so it was that small step that, put that thought into my mind that it was possible. So to answer that question, did I know that I would become a pro 10 years ago? Not so much, but it's the embodiment of who I chose to be throughout that time period. And little by little, man, when you make those decisions to say yes to, your heart, as my son Amari says, you start to find a way to create that reality that you see in your mind. And it starts to become like a vibration that is like clear and true. And you start to see the evidence that it's possible. The first time that I did a national show, I actually ended up getting, last place pretty much. So like, let's just say, there's 40, 50 people in your class or whatever, 40 people in your class. And after the top 15, they don't actually judge you anymore. So like you just see 16th after the 15th, placing. And, I got, 16th. I was in the 16th placing. So I didn't, get judged, particularly like I'm from a legitimate place. So, pretty much got last place. And, so I remember being at that show thinking to myself, like, man, one day, if I can really believe in myself, I was backstage and seeing all these amazing physiques, feeling like, I'm not meant to be there. And, but I remember thinking in my mind, like, man, one day when I really believe, I know that I can become a pro. I know that I can do this, but I got to find a way to believe in myself. And through, taking that action, getting out of my comfort zone, failing forward, realizing what I got to work on, I just grew into the person that I am today. And, when I got my pro card, it was as though I already knew when I stepped off the plane, and my boys, Jay Johnson and Jason Johnson and Colin and Law, these guys are top level dudes. They saw me and it was like, it's over with. It's a wrap. You got this pro card. And I remember going down, backstage, and it's like some of the top physiques, you know what I'm saying, on a national level, in this one room. And I could feel the energy, man. Like I'm walking around, people looking at me like, this guy, he ready. And, and then I got into my class, a group of guys that I would compete against in my class for my pro card. I felt like on a real level, man, I felt like I was at a local show. The vibe that I felt like, man, these dudes, I don't see too many people who can really mess with me. So, man, I, pumped up, and it was time as we little by little, because there's lots of people. So we gradually moving towards, to get on stage. And, ultimate confidence, feeling like awesome about myself, feeling the belief, I'm lean, my physique is looking good, posing's on point. And I remember, man, right before it's time for us to get on stage, a little doubt came into my mind. And I started to question everything. And, man, I just remember I, took a deep breath, and I was like, man, I put too many years in. I'm going to go up there and just be myself. And, if what I am ain't enough, I know that I did everything I can to be able to, be at the best that I can be today. So, man, I went up there, and I was posing like I was Michael Jackson, boy, smooth, killing it. Just doing, posing like I never posed before. Confidence, my energy just exuding on that stage. And then, it's time for us for them to call out the first call out. So pretty much first call out, let's just say, I think it's maybe 30-some people in my class. And then I think they called out maybe 7 people or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but usually call it about 5 to 7 people, depending on how many good physiques are up there. So, they called my number out last. And I'm thinking to myself, man, it's all good. I know I did what I needed to do. I gave my best. I'm going to leave here feeling good if I don't get in the first call outs. So, boom, they called my number, get on stage, man, killing it. Put me in the center. And at that time, I felt a little nervous. I couldn't believe all this accumulation of all this time, all these years, all this blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I'm saying? Overcoming my doubts, failing, making mistakes. You know what I'm saying? People looking at me crazy, thinking I'm have this lofty goal that's not possible. Putting too much time and effort in something that doesn't, bring any kind of monetary gain. It's all these things. And, even the self-doubt within my own self outside of other people. And, for me to be in the center, it's man, here I am. This is the biggest national show in the nation, and I'm in the center. And, you know what I'm saying? And then even to the point, my coach, Omar, he, reaches out to me man, called me on the phone man, you got your pro card. You did this. And, it was an amazing experience. So, to answer that question, I think I was going to get this pro card, 10 years ago. In some sense, my spirit did. Because, man, the kind of actions that I was taking when it came to the circumstances that I was in, barely any money, you know what I'm saying, working out. And I got a 2-year-old son, no family in my city, you know what I'm saying, not a lot of money to, be able to even go to a show, you know what I'm saying, and the circumstances that I've been through in my life in the past, everything was stacked against me, for me to just quit, to not try. But it was something deep inside of me that pushed me to move towards something that I had no clue how I was going to get there. And from that space, man, all of the resources, all of the people, all of the circumstances happened and got in alignment and conspired for me to be able to get to this place that I am today. So all it takes is, man, just faith of a mustard seed. And from there, man, a little bitty seed can grow into a huge tree that bears fruit. And, I'm a testament to that. So, if there's something that you see in your mind that you're passionate about, just start moving towards it. Open your heart up to the possibilities. Be vulnerable. Don't worry about how people perceive you and move towards it. You know what I'm saying? And one of my greatest mentors, motivational speakers, Les Brown, you don't have to, know that you can do it for sure. All you got to do is believe that it's possible. And just that it's possible that you can reach your goals. It's possible that you can, overcome those challenges and become the person that you don't even know how it can become. But you just got to believe that it's possible. And from that space, it's amazing what can happen. So hope that answered your question. And there we go. All right, so we'll go to the next question. Do you eat for a particular workout? When it comes to a particular workout, that's a great question. And it's really relative to a lot of different variables. If you're looking to gain weight and build muscle, you know what I'm saying, you need to make sure that you're in a caloric surplus. And, that you're being able to, take in more food than you burn. You want to make sure you got some good carbs to be able, some fast digesting carbs to help you get some energy through that workout. Those are going to be some key things to, help you be able to, maximize that training. You want to make sure that you're getting good fluids and, your body's in an optimal state to be able to train, the best that it can. But then from there, let's just say, a person's looking to, get into a depleted state. Maybe that day you may, have like not a lot of carbs or like, just a small amount of carbs before your workout. But throughout that day, calories are really low and just protein is the main macronutrient that you're consuming. Or you may be an endurance athlete and you're looking to, really carb load. So then you can really maximize your training. If you have a long spout of training, let's just say you got strength training and you're doing some kind of like you're swimming or running or something of that nature as well, and you need that extra energy to be able to get through the workout. So it all just depends on what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve, whether that's fat loss, whether that's, gaining muscle, or, you're trying to increase your endurance. And then from there, it's just all about the timing of when you eat. And then more than anything, it's about what you eat on a cumulative level throughout that day that's going to have the biggest, effect, and, on, what you're trying to do when it comes to your goals. All right, so then our next question, is there a way to know the strength of my tendons currently? And body scan reveal this, or is this just no, or there is no way to know? Just slow, simple, and mindful movements, and then you're strengthening the tendons. So pretty much a real good way to know that your tendons are not strong is if like you can lift like heavy weight, but then when you lift that heavy weight, your knees or your shoulders or your elbows are hurting really bad, or like they're sore, or it feels like you got to like put ice on them, and it takes a while for you to be able to recover from some kind of like heavy training. So that's showing that your actual muscles are strong, but then your connective tissue, your joints, ligaments, and tendons are not strong enough to be able to handle the load that your muscles can produce and be able to handle. So if you're training and your joints are hurting, then that means that your tendons and all that stuff around it are not in a place where they are healthy enough to be able to withstand how strong your body really is. And from there, I'm saying one of the best things that you can do is start to lift lighter but with a larger range of motion, and really focus on like getting some good blood flow the way that you train, getting the full range of motion and putting some tension on those tendons in a way that will help them get stronger but not too much where you end up hurting them. So like working within your ability of what you can handle, and first focusing on like connective tissue health, and then focusing on your strength. And a lot of people, we just focus on like really getting really strong and lifting heavy and aesthetic purposes of looking a certain way, when it comes to aesthetics. And so working on those tendons and like getting that connective tissue together is going to be the key to making sure that your body is resilient enough to lift heavy when you do. So I hope that answered that question. And then next question, let's see. If you never lived your own life and don't even know what it is that even moves you, what's the first step to learning this? So I already like actually answered this question. So what I found is, the 3 P's, and that's, finding your passion, your purpose, and your profit. And so first off, what brings you passion? What makes you feel good when it comes to, things that you do, whatever that is? It doesn't even have to be something that's popular. Even for me, this bodybuilding thing, man, like it was something that as a little bitty kid, I made a post about this today, man. Like I wanted to look like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I wanted to be Conan the Barbarian. Like, anybody knows my mom, she used to see me like watching TV as well as the Ninja Turtles. Man, I used to be hyped. I'm talking about like you would have thought I was in this movie the way that I would be fighting like, simultaneously with what they're doing, like just feeling like enthusiastic. And and it was just something that I loved. And I used to think to myself, even as a little bitty kid, I'm like, man, if I do 100 push-ups every day, I'm gonna have big muscles and I'm gonna be swole. And I remember even, when I was like, and I think it was the 3rd grade, my teacher, Miss Ibsen, we were sitting in like Indian style, sitting on the floor, and everybody going around like, we had to answer what do we want to be when we grow up? And people, I want to be a policeman, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be in the army, I want to be a doctor. And then, I got up, I'm like, I'm going to have big muscles. And man, she laughed at me because, man, I was a skinny little twig. And I remember just like, I always being like sensitive. I looked at her like, man, just wait. I can't wait till one day I get big. I was like thinking to myself, man, you over here hating on me, laughing at me when I'm being serious as hell. And, so I say, man, if you find something that you're passionate about, from there, you know what I'm saying, and your passions may change, or you may have multiple passions. But do what does your body tell you? What do you feel when you do something and like it gives you joy? Like move towards that and let that guide you. And then from there, man, you get clearer and clearer. And you start to get in tune with your purpose. And your purpose is something that's rooted. That I believe that's something that you come on this earth and it's part of like what you're supposed to do to help humanity grow and develop and learn. And it's rooted towards like great truth, guiding yourself to truth and others to that truth. And whatever that is. And I think purpose is something that can anchor you and can guide your whole life, you know what I'm saying, to like great heights, and you can help other people do the same thing. And then from there, then you transition that to being able to make it profitable for yourself, and you can like, be sustained and live and make it, something that, you're able to gain abundance from and be able to then give back. So I think, first, you know what I'm saying, figure out what you're passionate about. And just allow that to be your guide. And if you find out you have all these passions, or one moment you want to do this, the next moment you want to do that, just open yourself up to, who you really are. Don't be afraid to let the world see the real you. And, I found a lot of times, we get, brought up in certain environments, whether that's, our family, whether that's the culture that we live in. And there are things that get pushed on us that we have to, take in as truth. And we suppress our own truth. And so sometimes you got to learn how to let go of that programming, those things that got put upon you that are not in alignment with who you really are. And a lot of times that takes courage, because if it's your family, or if it's like groups of people that you're around, you don't want to look stupid. You don't want to go against the grain. And, sometimes it's easier to, just swallow and go along with what the group is doing. But that's not actually in alignment with your truth and alignment with who you really are. And, some people go to the grave not ever letting the world see them for who they really are. And so you got to be able to overcome that hurdle and get back in tune, because, something I can say is if you can learn and practice being something that you're not, you know what I'm saying, and be able to do it in a sufficient way where you kind of, maintaining, imagine if you relearn who you really are, you get in tune with yourself, you unstoppable. If you can learn to be something you ain't, like what can you do if you actually start being yourself and stop being afraid to, say yes when it really means yes, and say no when it really means no, and move and shake in this world in the way that feels good to you. And, what I'm saying, imagine if you learn how to do that from a confident place. What can you really achieve? Like nobody's going to be able to do it like you do it. And, what I'm saying, and you're going to be witty. Your timing is going to be on point. What I'm saying, people are going to be attracted to that kind of energy when you're really yourself. And let's just say on this earth we live on, if you only got 1,000 people who really, 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 really rock with you, let's just say that's the case. Not super good with math, but let's just say you get 1,000 people to pay you $100 a month. You're making 100,000, and they could be the rest of the 7 billion people on Earth can not even care. But you got these 1,000 people who rock with you hardcore all the way in. You're making 100,000 a month. So the time period that we live in, man, you can find your tribe. You just got to put your energy out there. If you are showing something to the world that's not actually in alignment with who you really are, you know what I'm saying? Nobody can ever know. It's almost kind of like, I think to myself, like, let's just say like a radio station, and you love country music, let's just say, and country music is 107.5, but then you over here, because everybody that you're around, listen to hip hop. So you resonating to 98.6. And, so the kind of things you're attracting to yourself is not in alignment with who you are. You got to let that vibration of who you truly are be seen. And just because everybody listening to hip hop around you, but you like country, start projecting that country music energy. You know what I'm saying? Don't break my heart. My head can't break it heart. That's the only country song I know. But you got to put it out there, man. Let it be seen. Let it be felt. And then you find your tribe of people who are in alignment with what you're doing. Or you find those people who can help you ascend to higher levels. You find those people who need your energy. You know what I'm saying? They need your expertise. The things and experiences that you've been through, your unique experiences is exactly what they need to hear, what they need to understand. And what I found is, when it comes to expert, all the expert is somebody that's 3 to 10 steps ahead of you, that you're 3 to 10 steps ahead of. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're 3 to 10 steps ahead of somebody, you can help them. you can help, you can be of value to them. And then you keep growing, you keep getting better. And like I said, man, you start finding your purpose and you start finding your profit. So I think that if you don't, you haven't lived your own life, you got to start living your own life. And you know what I'm saying? And and that takes courage to be true to your real self. And something else I can say, and that I don't even take from a personal level, is that, when people have seen you in a particular kind of way for years and years and years and years, especially your friends and people you grew up with, when you start changing, they're like, man, who you think you are? Like, what are you talking about? Like, or you gonna fall off? You ain't gonna stick with it. So they don't really have a lot of belief because, man, they don't have a lot of experience with you being a certain kind of way. And like at the same time too, it's not even from a space of like somebody hating on you really. It's more so, people who you're close to, if they see you start to rise or do something that's out of alignment of the group think mentality, it kind of can trigger them and the fact that they're not moving towards where they want to be. And so it's not so much that the pain that they are expressing is about you, it's more so about them. And like, so it's easier for you to, for somebody to keep you where you are by like pulling you down than to, when you rise, it makes them feel like they're descending. So, you got to work through that. And, what I found, that's part of the edification of your soul. That's part of your growth is, feeling that tension, feeling that resistance, and you become stronger. So then when you get to higher heights, you're ready for it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to buckle when that pressure comes. You're actually experienced and ready to do it, ready to be that person that you're meant to be. So, you got to take the good and the bad, realizing that it's, has a purpose. And, sometimes maybe people are not, supporting you. That's okay. Just keep moving towards the path that is best for you. And if you stay with that and stay consistent, man, the right things will happen with the right results. So that's what I would say with that. And then, so that's pretty much it with the questions. And then, something that I wanted to talk about today in reference to fitness and, overall wellness is, I think to myself, I came up with this little saying, you want to train like an athlete and live like a boss. And what I mean by that, so train like an athlete and live like a boss. And, a lot of us, whether it's, you used to run around and racing, with your shoes off in the grass, or, you in the swimming pool, racing with your friends, or you on the, you playing basketball, you know what I'm saying, on the community basketball court. When we were younger, man, all of us had like an intensity, a desire, a drive about what we were doing. Right? Even if you're playing freeze tag, you wanted to be, get to the base and without being it. And or if you played sports in high school all the way up into college, when we had that intention, like a direct focus of what we wanted to do, we were intentional about what we were doing because we wanted to, get that scholarship or, be able to be on the starting team or make the team, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Whatever sports you were doing, whatever endeavor you were doing, like you had like a direct focus about what your why. It wasn't like you just come into practice is just, going through the motions. If it was something that you really were true about, you over here giving blood, sweat, and tears and giving everything you got to, reach these goals. And, we're so young, we don't have bills and stuff like that when we were younger, or if you're in college, you live in like a different kind of life. And like, you're really going for your dreams and thinking like, maybe you can make it to the NBA or MLB or, the NBA or whatever it is, you just, like I said, you want to get that scholarship. And I found that many times when we don't reach those goals, we become older, we just have no focus, no intention anymore. And then we get, just degenerate within our bodies. And, we don't ever actualize our truest level of what's inside of us. And, from that space, you know what I'm saying? You kind of start to like, it's a part of you that just dies. And then you think to yourself, like, you're too old, bones is creaking, you know what I'm saying? Got extra weight. And you just hear people, because they're in their 30s or their 40s, I can't get on that level no more because everybody else being like that. And people in America just living that kind of lifestyle, so everybody think that it's just normal. And then we get into a mindset of like, that's just what it is. That's just the way it is. Ain't nothing I can do about it. And then you lose that edge that you had when you were a kid, when you were younger, when you had that enthusiasm, that belief that anything is possible. Maybe you were naive, but man, you were living in that space. And, we get older, we got all this wisdom, resources and things of that nature, and then we don't ever allow ourselves to be intentional about moving anymore. And, I almost got trapped up in that from, all this time period, racing, running, into sports, doing all this stuff. And then, running track, and I'm talking about like focus, but, had a lot of setbacks, got injured, and, didn't reach my fullest potential. And then, got into a sedentary lifestyle. And from that space, got crazy out of shape. You know what I'm saying? Like just drinking, eating, and chilling. You know what I'm saying? And before you know it, I'm like, gained like about 40 pounds of body fat, lost about 10, 15 pounds of muscle. And I remember saying to myself, man, I'm better than this. I remember just thinking like, man, all right, I'm 180. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna let myself get to 190. I'm 190. I ain't gonna let myself get to 200. And one day I stepped on the scale, I'm like almost 210 pounds. And I remember just saying, man, I gotta change this, man. Like I gotta make a decision and be better. So I got intentional. Even though I ran track and field, played sports all this time, I really didn't know, the process of, eating right and training to, make my body, fit. I just was younger, just run, train hard and, eat what I wanted, had a fast metabolism. So even myself, I didn't really know how to get there like that. But, I opened myself up to it little by little, gained the knowledge. And, here I am today. And I just want to say that, man, like you can take yourself to another level. You don't have to have a back that hurts all the time. You don't have to have knees that are, that you have anxiety about walking down the steps. You don't have to have all these different ailments that, prevent you from being able to live your life and feel good about yourself. You don't have to, carry around that extra weight if that's not what you want. There's a solution to it, but you got to be intentional. And even people that just, train and, they just work out at the gym, don't really, it's just whatever. 2 years later, they're the same, but they really in their hearts and their minds, hearts and their minds, they want to take it to a different level. You just got to be intentional. You got to get clear about who you want to be. And you got to open yourself up to something that's better. And that's the way that athletes operate. Athletes, they got a goal, they got an objective, and they're doing what it takes to get there. And with us people that are in their older age, in their 30s, or you're not trying to make it to the top anymore like that, but you can be like that for life. You can say to yourself, I'm gonna be intentional about my health, the way I feel, the things that I eat, the way I move. I'm gonna invest in myself. I'm gonna come up with a goal that's outside of where I am today and like get to that space. Whether that's, getting a six pack, getting your belly, a little bit leaner, or, one, you want to get your booty bigger, or you have like health goals that you want to achieve. You want to feel better. Be intentional about it. And then from there, you're able to live like a boss because, man, when your mind is strong, when your body is strong, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that can stop you. You're at a different level than the average person. When you're looking good, you're feeling good, you're confident, you can be on boss mode. You're taking responsibility for your life. You're not making any excuses. And you know what I'm saying? And it changes your life. It changes how people perceive you. It changes how you perceive yourself. And so this ain't just about aesthetics. It's about you being intentional about being the best that you can be and putting that into your hands and doing something about it, opening yourself up, whether that's, getting a coach, whether that's doing research, whether that's investing in yourself. Man, this is your physical body. And this is where your heart, your mind, and your spirit is housed. So, you take care of it. And you know what I'm saying? And from there, the mind follows the body and the body follows the mind. But you gotta be clear about where you're trying to go. So that's that. So like I said, train like an athlete and live like a boss. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody that was on here and listen. As I always say, remember what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. All right, peace, guys.